All right. Edward from 26th of the month of June 2018. Um, Before we would go into what we want to talk about today, I'll just quickly do a rundown on what is happening so far, or what has happened so far in the TBC community, and what to look out for in our community is all in the blog. That and we want to really encourage people to start reading more on the blog. There are so many posts that have been released this last week and even today. So many posts have come out. So we're also to use the blog to educate others. There are so many wondrous and awesome informations in the blog that we can use to educate ourselves and educate our friends and family members. So um, it's just a form of encouragement to everyone out there. Our migration is still ongoing. Today being the 26th of June, we have 31 days in the month of July, 4 days remaining in the month of June. That is about 35 days to the end of the migration. If you're having problem or any form of challenge, you are questions about the migration, you can ask any of the live TBC broadcasters. They will guide you. They will be there to answer. Good afternoon, Mr. Stephen Coffey. They will be there to answer your questions. All right. So if you're having any difficulty, any challenge, you can ask. Okay, someone will answer. It is better to ask than to keep mute and suffer the pain. All right, so it's good to ask. Like I did ask, though I've not gotten an answer in I think Mr. Stephen's Coffee's program. Good morning or good afternoon, Ncoin. Good afternoon. There's a book. Now let me use this opportunity to also ask. There's a book I'm looking for. I've not been able to lay my hands on it. Title of the book is A History of Central Banking and the Enslavement of Mankind. I, since I came in contact with the title of the book, I really want to get down to it. So if you have, you can simply assist this young man here with the book, and I will deeply appreciate it if you do. Now, today being Monday, all Tibicians with send button meeting with send button, do not forget we have a send button meeting today, and the time is 7 a.m. PDT time. 7 a.m. PDT, that is the Pacific daylight time, or Pacific daytime. Okay, the meeting is for 7 a.m. PDT, and it came out in the blog with what will I use now? As a necessity. Is it a necessity? Okay, but it is mandatory. Yes, that's the word in the blog. It is mandatory that all TBC live broadcasters have a view. They attend the send button meeting. It is mandatory. So all TBC live broadcasters, please take note that the send button meeting is for today, and the time is 7 a.m. PDT. Now, if you also look at, if you have logged on to your Kringle Cash account, you would have noticed that there have been an upgrade of the Kringle side, and our Santa has retired. All right. Santa has retired. The Kringle Cash is now having a beautiful look with a new help desk button. Okay, a new help desk button. So if you have not noticed it, you can dive in and you will see that. Then subsequently, as time progresses, is in the blog. As of the 7th of July, all send buttons will be turned off in the TBC 004, not TBC 009. Okay, let me clear that. For TBC 004 wallet, the old blockchain, all of the send buttons there will be turned off on the 7th of July, which is next month, because we don't really need it. We don't need it anymore, right? And there are going to be some upgrades. New features will be added to TBC 009 wallet for easy transactions. When I mean easy, it's really easy now, but talking about using your phones and all that is a great news. Seeing that such mechanism will be added to our wallet. It's so good. Okay, so for today, we want to talk about mental slavery. I had to come up with this topic after a whole lot of thinking, a whole lot of meditating, what next to see and what to say that will impact people. That is the in thing for the now. Good afternoon, TBC Prayer Warrior. I'm so happy you are here. Then all of a sudden, this thought just flashed into my mind, because if you look at the word, with all that is happening, you kind of wonder if people are not hearing, or if I don't know, if they can't see. Okay, so with all of that, the next word that just came to the topic that came to my mind was mental slavery. People are enslaved in their minds. Okay, so I started making a whole lot of study, research, so that I would be firm and know exactly what I am saying. I had a story of the government of Zimbabwe, or the country, Zimbabwe, Zambia. It was in a message. A pastor was preaching. Good morning, good afternoon, Bitcoin Scott. The pastor was preaching, and he was preaching in Bishop T.D. Jakes' church, and he spoke about Zambia, how the government of Zambia had a copper mine. The people of Zambia had a copper mine, and from the story said the people of Zambia, or the government of Zambia, never knew what to do with, good afternoon, with the copper mine. And as a result of the fact that they never knew what to do, they sold the copper mine. Good afternoon, Madam Marian Murphy. I'm so happy to have you in my broadcast today. Thank you for honoring me and being here. And it goes to everybody, all right. So they sold the copper mine, and they sold the copper mine to a private company for $25 million US. Okay, they sold it for $25 million US, of which the private company was to pay not once, but there was a time frame given to them to pay the fees. Okay, so they started operation, and after 3 months, this private company made 75 million US dollars as against the 25 million US dollars. Then I asked the question because I got a message from a pastor here in Nigeria, and I asked the question. I said, was it recent? And the story goes to say it was recent. And I was like, it connects with what I'm saying, or what I want to say, that they are enslaved. People are enslaved in their own mind. Right? They can't project, they can't see beyond their survival. Right? And when I heard that news, I was blown away. In a time like this, even if it was last year or last 2 years, when the world is already clamoring for a global currency reset, and a nation had copper and they sold it for nothing. All right, so I just needed to use that to establish the part that a lot of people are enslaved in their own mind. So I'm going to, from everything I gathered, I'm going to be reading some stuff and really discussing about it today. It was Henry Ford who said, "It is well enough," and I wonder if people have come across this quote. "It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand how our banking and monetary system works. For if they did, I'd be a revolution before tomorrow morning." I wonder if people have come across such quotes, and if they have, yes, if they have, did they really understand what the quote meant? Because I did catch it long time ago, but I never had a way on how to help. But thank God, TBC came, and TBC gave the path, a clear path on how to help. Okay, so by God's grace, we have all embraced it, and we are working it, right? If people really understood, then there'll be a revolution. Does that not connect everything that the TBC admin has been saying? It does. Yes, TBC is our saving grace. It does connect everything that TBC admin has been saying. So, with these quotes, we'll ask ourselves, why aren't people acting? Why have people not taken the responsibility for their own lives into their hands? It will bring us to the point, or to a point, where we'll now understand that people have not taken actions. People are not taking actions because they are stopped by the cage of their mind. You and I know that the prison is a cage. Just like you put a bird in a cage, that is how they put people into cages. Okay, so you find out that people are being limited by their own prison. It's like a picture I saw very long time ago, I think 4 or 5 years back, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5 years back, of, is it an elephant? Yes, of an elephant. Why that elephant was small, they used a chain to chain the elephant to a stake. That, and they pinned the stake into the ground. So the elephant could not travel far. Rather, it can only go around in circles around a particular spot. The elephant grew into maturity, became a very matured elephant, but the elephant could not travel far. The elephant could not go beyond the spot other than the one that he could go around when it was still a baby elephant. And the chains were still on the elephant, tied to the stake. Now the question was, why is the elephant not pulling the stake out of the ground? That becomes a big question. Why is the elephant not pulling that stake off the ground? Because at that time, the elephant is way bigger than the stake. So why is the elephant? We're talking about an elephant here. An elephant that can cause, that can bring down a tree. An elephant that can go through a building. The question now is, how come a little stake is holding an elephant to the ground? Programming. Programming is the word. The elephant has been programmed to believe that it is powerless. The elephant has been programmed to believe it is helpless. The elephant has been programmed to live in cages. Yes, because it thinks, yes, very true. Because it's been bound to limit in his thoughts or his life. His conditioning he is conditioned, okay. And if we take that picture and we bring it into our world today, we would agree that that is how humanity has been programmed. And the word is, they have been enslaved. They have been, okay, thank you TBC prayer warrior. They have been enslaved. And the enslavement began from the babyhood, while we were very young. They started programming people to believe in a certain pattern. So, to further help us, I have to look at the definition of economic slavery and mental slavery, and I'm going to read that to us now. Economic slavery or wage slavery, because when you tell people that they are slaves, they kind of like feel uncomfortable with your language, but that's the truth. Economic slavery or wage slavery refers to one's total dependence, total and immediate dependence on wages to survive. Hello? That's what's happening in the world. People have a total and immediate dependence on the 9 to 5 working system. You would Yes, people have been working, but the 9 to 5 hustling, bustling system came in during the industrial age. Before the industrial age, we had slaves, where people work in the farm for a slave master. Okay, they were in chains, bounded on their legs and their hands, and they worked for a slave master. Now, these group of people, of which we all know who they are, the Israelites, knew that that system would not hold weight for too long, so they decided to modify. And upon deciding to modify, they had to come up with a program that can keep people in line, thinking or giving these people the false impression that they are free, but not knowing that they are in servitude. And they came up with the education system, the scholastic education system. They come up with that system, and it started with the Prussians. And the Prussians had the idea of training. The idea of schooling is to train obedient slaves. That is the truth of the system of education that was designed to produce obedient slaves who will not question authority. They wouldn't question their masters. And from that point on, as soon as they leave school, they would naturally depend on a slave master who will pay them for working. Okay, here in Nigeria, I was talking with some persons, friends, brothers too. I said, a slave is a slave. There is no definition for it. A slave is there's no separation. The houseboy who has a master is a slave. And he's not working for the master for free. He's working. But though his job is not formal, it's not a formal work, yet he's working. And at the end of the month, he's paid. He's a slave, he's a servant. I used to tell them, when you hear the word civil servant, what do you think it means? A servant of the society. And the society is a system. Someone designed the society. So the servant is now working in the system called the society. So it becomes a civil servant. He's still a slave. He can be a private, he's still a slave. Right? So the system now enslaved people in their minds that they can't even imagine to break free. They can't imagine to break free. And they think of freedom as something that is obscure, something that is it is made up by someone who is crazy. When they hear you talk about freedom, they look at you like, are you insane? Right? Because they've been made to believe, programmed to act in a certain direction. Although people throughout history have had to work to get by, we now live in a culture where we are led. We now live in a culture. We all know what culture is. We now live in a culture where we are led to believe we have economic freedom, when unknown to most citizens, we are in fact bound in servitude. Now the word there is, people have been made to believe. They have been made to believe in freedom, not knowing that that freedom is false. And TBC is here to give to humanity absolute freedom. If we have time, we'll talk about economic freedom, the freedom that people are all craving for. Whenever we have time within the week, people, TBC is here to grant to everyone this freedom. Yes, sir. People have been brainwashed by the airlines that freedom is impossible. Yes. TBC, so when this group of people who are not in TBC community yet, and those, you and I will agree that even some persons in TBC right now, they've not been totally unplugged from the metrics. They've not been totally unplugged. They are still, let's use the word, partially plugged to the metrics. So they find it impossible to believe that such opportunity can be possible. But we know that it is possible, and that is why we are here doing the 24/7 live broadcast to educate, to inform, and to empower our community that we are the ones who have to free ourselves. No one is coming to free us other than us. We are the ones with the power to free ourselves. Now, mental slavery is a state of mind where discerning between liberation and enslavement is twisted. Mental slavery is a situation where discerning between liberation and enslavement is twisted. People are not able to understand the difference anymore. A lot of them. Mental slavery affects how people see their own reality. It has affected the way people view things, and they have come to accept everything as a norm. I'm going to do part of Bob Marley's lyrics. I'm going to read part of it because as I was preparing, the song came to my mind. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None can free ourselves other than, no one else can. I'm going to read it now. Other than ourselves. So, mental slavery affects the way people think. It affects their reality. They have been trapped in their own mind. Now, all of this manipulation came as a result, I said it earlier, as a result, they achieved this through the mainstream media, which is their greatest tool. The mainstream media, religion, and education. These are their main tools that they have used to continue to enslave, continue to keep people enslaved in their minds. And that is where we have to double our effort. When I mean double our effort, TVisions out there, you have to come on board, become a broadcaster, and begin to speak, to educate. Scripture says, one will put to flight 1,000, and two will put to flight tens of thousands. All right? It's a simple principle. We all united and doing the broadcast together, we can put to flight so many thousands. We can reach out to so many people, get them enlightened all over again. Okay, now over to what Bob Marley said. Let me just read it. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. Is that not what the government used to intimidate people? The system intimidates people with atomic energy, with weapons. That's what they used to intimidate people. But kind of slavery to defeat and conquer. Right? Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? The prophets, people who are enlightening others, telling them the truth, people who are bringing insight, are being attacked. Like, if they had known who our TVC are, they would have attacked him. They would have attacked him or her. Okay? They would have gone after the creator of TVC and tried to suppress and hurt the TVC program, because it will emancipate people from poverty. TVC admin is our prophet, and we are not going to stand and look and allow the system to attack our prophet. Therefore, our prophet has to be anonymous. We don't have to know who this our prophet is. We just know we have a prophet. Okay? Connecting our prophet, connecting the TVC admin to the song, the lyrics that I am reading out now. They have killed so many prophets, but we are going to keep our prophets anonymous. We are not going to talk about the identity of our prophet. We are going to keep our prophet anonymous to the world. He's a prophet, and we are okay at that. This prophet, we don't know where this prophet came from. Nobody knows where Melchizedek came from. Melchizedek never had a father, never had a mother, but Melchizedek existed. And when Melchizedek met Abraham at that time, after that time, Melchizedek was nowhere. So we have got to fulfill the book. Oh, won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Because this is all that we have. Redemption song. Redemption song. Right? So we have to start singing the song of emancipation. The bishops that are out there, we have to sing the song of emancipation, bringing people out of these mental cages. They are mental cages that people have been programmed with. People have been programmed with that they cannot act beyond what they've been programmed with. So we need to sing, and what the best way to do that is, yes, freedom, freedom, freedom. We have to keep singing the song until the world is emancipated from poverty, from torture, from fear, and all of the bullying of the elite system. Okay? It was someone who said, mental slavery works much better when they don't even realize they are slaves. And that's the truth. That is why it is working. People globally are not even aware that they are slaves. They are not aware yet. So the mental slavery is working perfectly. I'm going to end today's broadcast here and hopefully pick it up some other time as we continue our live broadcast. Until then, stay blessed. Thanks to everyone who made it possible. Bye-bye.